Good morning. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I hope this finds you resting on this Sabbath day and taking rest in the Lord. We're getting pretty close to Passover, and it's that time of the year where we think about the Exodus and the people escaping from Pharaoh. And I come to realize that they weren't the Pharaoh wasn't the only ruler that the Israelite people had to deal with. As they got settled in the land of Israel and things happened, they got taken captive by the Babylonians and the Greeks and then the Romans. And this all had an effect on the Jewish people. These people were not monotheists. They didn't believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the true and living God. They believed in many gods. They had Ishtar and Zeus and Pan and just many Diana. There's just many gods in amongst these people, and it's a different kind of viewpoint. But one of the things that happened as time rolled on and the Roman Caesars came into control, they were exerting pressure for taxation, and they were exerting pressure to make sure that Caesar was being honored, and because they looked at Caesar as basically a god. And now the Caesars, they had no love for the Jewish people. They didn't care about the Jewish people. And then as time rolled by, in the Christian faith, Constantine comes along, who was a Caesar, and he didn't really have a love for the Jewish people. He converted to Christianity, but there's a lot of questions around: was it Christianity as we see it today, or was it Christianity by his definition? And what happened is he had a lot of things that he did that made it by his definition. His things that he did that basically outlawed and stripped the Judaism and the Jewish faith out of Christianity. And he made edicts. There's edicts that he wrote and that we know of, and scholars have gone through these, and he took all of our Hebraic roots out of the Jewish faith. So we try to teach from this point. There's a richness and a fullness that Christians have a tendency to miss. But we also, today in the Christian church, is taught from kind of a Greek perspective, because the Septuagint was in Greek. So we kind of look to the Greek more than we do Hebrew, or even some people do use Aramaic, but it's the mindset is different. The language is different. Hebrew is a picture language, and it has specific things, and it necessarily, one word doesn't just mean one thing. It can have like spokes in a wheel. There's different meanings to each thing. It's kind of like the word shalom. Shalom is a standard greeting, but it actually is like a spokes in a wheel around the hub. It goes from, it means peace, but it means also nothing missing, nothing broken, completely whole in every way, and that you're resting. And so with the Hebraic roots being stripped away, Christians do not look into Scripture with this mindset. We don't have this pictorial language, and so this is some of the things where we try to delve in, and we teach, and we come from this point to go forward to teach the Hebraic roots. Well, what does this mean? Scripture is full of types and shadows, and my pastor used to say, he says, things you see in Scripture, you're not going to just see it once. You're going to see it again. It has a tendency to repeat itself. And so these types and shadows, these images, and they're just things that, that mean things to the Jewish people. I've taught about the tzitzi, right? But it's not just tzitzi. It's how people are received, and how people are looked at, and how life is looked at. Life is precious and looked at in a bit of a little different perspective. So, but the Caesars, they just grabbed the power, and they basically set up things in charge in Israel, and they ruled with an iron fist. And we know that from what happened to our Messiah Yeshua. He was crucified, And but he was resurrected to life, and he's the Son, and he points to the Father. So I just wanted to bless you this morning. Have a wonderful Shabbat. As Passover comes, have a wonderful Passover. For Christian people, if you haven't ever been to a Passover Seder, take time, find one, go to a Passover Seder. It will enrich your thinking, and you will see things that are done in a meal that just represent so much of Messiah Yeshua. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.